Hello, my loves. The seduction expert here with some dating advice for you. In this time of social distancing, I am going to teach you all about the art of getting on the phone as your first date. I have been a longtime advocate of getting on the phone before meeting someone in real life, so I'm really excited to bring to you my best practices on how to really knock it out of the park. Because I know with all of this, shelter in place and not being able to socialize with other people, it can seem like it's putting a really big damper on your dating life because you can't go out and do anything and you're supposed to keep 6 feet from each other. But it's actually a really awesome time to take your dating to the next level because it really forces you to practice the art of conversation. And remember, we are seduction experts here, and being able to converse and communicate is one of the most seductive skills that you can possibly have. So in this video, I'm going to go over ways to make it an amazing phone call for both of you, things to avoid so that it is not an uncomfortable phone call for both of you, how to take it from the phone to meeting in real life, and how to gracefully bow out of meeting in real life if you realize that the two of you just don't have any chemistry. And so by the end of this video, I hope you have some really great tips on how to go out there and really connect with other human beings and hopefully either find your forever love or your next lover or just someone to have an awesome human-to-human conversation with. So first and foremost, you want to walk into a phone date, and actually this applies for Zoom as well. I know a lot of people out there actually doing Zoom dates, which is kind of a new way of going about things. So all of the advice I'm giving you in here is the same for both phone calls and Zoom dates, with the exception, and I'll just get this out of the way now, if you're going to be doing video, make sure you have a nice background, make sure you have really nice lighting, make sure that you are well dressed and like you would be on a real date, don't have any distractions in the background, and be prepared to give the person your full attention. For me personally, I like phone calls just because I really like to listen and pay attention to someone rather than be a little bit distracted by the video of them and of me. But I think they're both great ways because, body language is the foundation of seduction as well, and you can tell a lot from somebody's body language even over Zoom. So best practices, you want to walk into that with an awesome attitude. So smile and dial, as they say. If it means getting in the mirror and giving yourself a big goofy grin, or laughing at yourself, or listening to music that pumps you up or turns you on or makes you feel sexy, because we are very good at reading each other's energy and we're very good at sensing each other's energy. So you want to make a strong first impression, even though this is just a simple phone call. Remember, this is still your first impression that you're making on this person. And yes, of course, you have an impression of someone from their photos and you have an impression of someone from their texts. But one of the reasons I've always advocated getting on the phone is that it's really easy to misunderstand someone through text, and it's really easy to kind of project our own expectations and ideas on a person based on what we think we see in their photos. So when you're getting on the phone with the person, you're actually connecting with the real person, and you can discover whether or not you guys have a good chemistry, connection, something to talk about if you actually do end up meeting in real life, or if you guys just aren't a good fit and you didn't waste the time and the energy to go and meet in real person, only to figure that out with a few minutes. But regardless, always go into it with a good attitude, because at the very least you're connecting with another human being. You're meeting someone new. You might learn something interesting. I've definitely walked out of phone dates where it was not going to go anywhere, but I learned something new and amazing. So you never know. You never know what's going to come out of these conversations. Go into it prepared with some stories to share. So funny stories, lighthearted stories, maybe things to share about your job, things to share about your passions and your hobbies. Because remember, this is an opportunity to get to know each other. So of course you can ask the questions, what do you do, where are you from, what's your job, those sorts of things, which are great basics because they're, it's just good to get to know and get out of the way. But you also want to hear about the person's passions. You want to hear about whether they're enthusiastic about life, if they complain about life. You want to hear if you guys have shared interests, if you have shared hobbies or shared values. You want to hear if they like their family or if they don't like their family. So, if family is really important to you and they have a bad relationship with their family, you know that already. For me, sense of humor is very important. So if someone can make me laugh and they laugh at my stupid jokes, it's a huge turn on for me. Because remember, we're seduction experts here. We are trying to turn the other person on. We are trying to be unforgettable and create an experience that, leaves people feeling moved and excited, not just like, ugh, dating, right? So, yes, have stories, have good questions. Absolutely, number one piece of advice is listening skills. I find nothing more frustrating than getting on a phone call with someone and wanting to get to know each other, and yet when someone asks you a question and you start sharing about yourself, they jump right on you and don't let you finish your stories. They don't let you finish your points, or they argue with something that you're saying. So anti-seductive, such a turnoff. So if you know that you're that kind of person, really work on listening to the other person and waiting until they've finished their point. And if someone does that to you, don't be afraid to call them out on it and say, hey, can I finish my point? Can I finish my point? Because sometimes, yes, we get nervous, right? So someone could be jumping on your conversation simply because they're excited, because they're nervous, so it's like calling them out and stepping on your time, get them to slow down and take a breath and say, oh yeah, sorry, I really do want to get to know you. Sorry, I'm jumping on your thing. Or if someone, keeps interrupting you, that for me is an instant no fit, because, conversation, connection, communication is very, very important. And it's just a simple phone call, but you can tell so much about a person in the course of that phone call. Other best practices is to keep it mysterious. So, don't spill too much about yourself too soon. Leave some things to talk about if you're going to get together again. And also, it's fun to uncover people slowly. I had a phone conversation with a guy who just proceeded to tell me everything and anything about himself, and it was just so overwhelming, so unattractive that, at the end of it, when he was like, I really want to go out with you, I think you're amazing, you're this, you're that, I said, no, I'm sorry. I'm already overwhelmed and I don't feel comfortable. And he seemed like he could have been a really good guy, but it's just too much information too soon. So, you want to keep it a little bit mysterious. And also because if you're looking for your forever partner, you want to have lots of stuff to keep talking about. Other things that are really important are asking good questions, so you want to see if you guys have shared values, if you like the same things. Like if you're someone who doesn't like to drink and you're talking to someone who talks about going out to bars all the time, are you two really going to get along? But at the same time, if you have like shared passions like cooking or outdoor sports, it's a really good jumping off point to actually set yourself up for a first date. Because the thing is that people think, oh, I'll just go to coffee and meet the person in real life to see if there's chemistry and connection. Well, first of all, that's not very seductive. It's pretty basic actually. So, when you're getting on the phone with someone, you get all that get to know you boring stuff out of the way first, so that when you meet in real life, you can actually focus on actually connecting to each other and not focusing on the dumb, boring questions that you can get out of the way on the phone. And also gives you a chance to plan a really awesome first date. So if someone's really passionate about the ocean, plan a date to go down by the tidal pools. If someone's really passionate about cinema, then plan to have a movie date. I don't necessarily even advocate going on dinner dates so much the first time, because again, we want to be unforgettable. And unforgettable is doing something that is kind of out of the box that maybe, they haven't done on other dates with other people, because we want to turn these people on. We want to get people excited. We want to, be that person that they come to for their fun and excitement. So yeah, bad practices to avoid: being a bad listener, being distracted, having noise in the background, driving. Don't try and have a date when you're driving. You're going into it with a bad attitude, going into it unprepared, and what else? Yeah. And so if you want to go on a date with this person, you realize like, oh, we laughed, we had a good time, 3 hours passed and we didn't even notice, then you say, okay, well, since you're really passionate about this thing, why don't we go here for our first date? Or, you mentioned that you're really excited about music, so why don't we go to a music venue? That would be really fun. And then you can coordinate the date and you move forward, and then when you see each other, you feel like you already know each other, so that when you want to make the first kiss happen, or you want to establish physical contact, or, escalate to whatever, it's much, much easier because you already feel like you know each other. But what happens if you're on the phone with someone and you decide you do not want to date them? How do you get out of that? Easiest way I've ever found is just to say, hey, it was really cool connecting with you. I'm so glad we had a chance to talk. It sounds like you're up to some really awesome stuff, and I wish you the best of luck with all that. And that's it. And if someone says, oh, but I really want to go out with you, be honest, be upfront, be respectful, and say, hey, I really enjoyed talking to you, but I don't see us being a good fit. So, again, I really like talking to you, but I wish you the best of luck with everything. So be respectful, but just be honest. Don't string someone along. Don't, end up going out with someone because you feel guilty and you don't know how to say no or how to set boundaries. I could probably do a whole course just on phone conversations. But that's like the nitty-gritty of it. And some exciting news to share with you guys, if you've made it this far in the video, is that I have just signed on as a matchmaker with Talkify. And I'm so excited about that opportunity, because not only am I going to be able to help you guys be better daters, but also help you find better dates. And I cannot wait to tell you more about that opportunity as it develops. But I can say this, that part of their date concierge service in this time of social distancing is doing Zoom communication. So this is a new era, people. This is a whole new way of meeting each other, and it's super exciting. So I hope you guys found the advice in this video somewhat valuable, and stay tuned for a lot of the great free content that I'm putting together for you guys. But if you'd like to have a little bit more in-depth training, I have the seduction skill set, which you can find on my website, which is top to bottom how to have amazing dating experiences. You want to definitely check that out. I also do offer private coaching services, so if you really want very targeted, personalized advice, I have a couple slots open. So if you're interested in that, absolutely sign up for a free mini session so we can see if it's a good fit for you. And then you can always check out my body language masterclass that's available on my website as well. Body language is by far the most important thing that you can learn when it comes to being a seduction expert, and that is just $7, so nothing to lose. And if you don't like it, I'm happy to return your money on all of my products. Happy to return your money, because I really believe in my techniques, and I know that you guys are going to really enjoy what I have to teach you guys. Anyway, that's it. I hope you found this helpful. Send me your messages. I love to hear from you, and until next time, stay healthy